a quick introduction about me before I go into the specifics. I'm Sergeant Andy Chambers. I've been in the Royal Air Force for 15 years now. My trade is RAF police, so I'm not in the catering field as such. However, I'm a fully trained recruiter, so I can tell you all about the training and the roles that go into the catering field. I'm aware there's no Q&A session, and I'm sure that we're going to get any questions fired our way after the event. So if I do miss anything or you do want any further information, please speak to the organisers and get in touch. So what does the RAF do? We are the air side of the military. So the Army look after the land, Navy look after the sea, we look after the air. Our primary role is to protect the UK airspace. So you're probably questioning, why do we need caterers when we're all about flying aircraft? Well, as an organisation, we need to make sure that we are self-sufficient. So we are able to take care of everything from our own medical, our own catering, our own legal teams, you name it, we've probably got a role that does it. If you go onto our website, you'll see we have over 60 different roles. For the catering specific side, I've heard a lot of the previous guys' presentations and stuff. They've gone on to say that the courses will lead you well into the military. This is very true. However, you can actually join us straight from 16 as well. So you could join us to be a chef at 16, straight out of school. With our chef apprenticeship, you don't actually need any GCSEs. However, if you do have your English and maths at least grade 4 or a C, depending on your age, that's perfect because it'll help towards your apprenticeship. It's just slightly less you'll have to do during the training. Our apprenticeship works very differently to a normal apprenticeship. When you join us, you will do a basic course of 9 weeks, which will turn you into an airman. This will give you the basic skill set of how to operate in the RAF. This teaches you everything, how to use the weapons. You'll do a bit of adventurous training. You'll learn how to march, look after your uniform. So the very basics that we need, so then we can send you on to your specialist training to build you up further to your specific role. When you do join, so for us, we have chefs. They do their catering down at Worthy Down, which is just north of Portsmouth. If you Google RAF chefs, our chefs enter all sorts of culinary competitions. They do all sorts of fancy chocolatier work. They do your silver service, and they also do your large catering. Obviously, generally, we need the large catering because we're feeding a squadron of people or servicing a base to make sure everyone's fed for the day and all that sort of stuff. So they will learn everything from the basics all the way up to your fancy fine cuisine techniques. So on the course, if you do have prior experience working in the kitchen, it's a bonus. However, we don't actually need any experience because we will give you all the training. Like I said, you'll do your phase 1 basic training, then you'll do your specialist training, which is how to be a chef. Once you've done that, you will be released to your first posting. At that first posting, you will do your sort of final assessments to make sure that you have learned what you were supposed to at phase 2, and then you'll get your final bit signed off for your apprenticeship. And then after that, you'll work your way up through the rank structures. As you go up through the ranks, you'll do additional courses to get further skilled, but these are not how to be an actual chef. It's how to go into more of the management side, so how to do ordering, stock control, how to manage people as well, which is actually quite a big skill. It's quite a hard one as well, but we've got courses to help develop you in that area, so do not worry. As I was saying, we are apprenticeships. However, the way we start is we'll give you a proper wage to start with. After the first 12 months, you'll be roughly on 18,000 a year. So where most apprenticeships nowadays, I think, are averaging about £8,000 a year in the first couple of years, we're going to start you 18,000 at the end of the first year once you've completed your phase 1 and phase 2 training. So we do operate differently that way. The other way we operate differently, whereas a lot of apprenticeships, you'll do some time in the kitchen, cooking, working, and then some time in the classroom. We like to get all that study, all that early learning done in one block, get that bit out of the way, and then get you out, get you with a mentor to help develop you that side. So you get to be in a working kitchen, out on the ground, feeding the guys a lot sooner. However, you still have that safety net of the mentor looking after you and making sure that you are okay and that you are doing as you should be. With the catering, we don't just have chefs. Like I said, you can do management. Our chefs and our catering world falls under our logistics officer. So if you do want to progress and you do want to go into the real high level management side, you can commission. With the Air Force, once you've joined, once you're qualified, you are able to then apply for what we call internal commissioning. And this can take your pay up to starting at 28 grand as a basic officer in the RAF, and then obviously it progresses from there. So there is a lot of routes of progression within the Air Force. And if, like previous presenters have said, they decided to go into the instructional world, you could also go back to Worthy Down and become an instructor to teach the next phase of chefs coming through. The benefits of being in the RAF is you will get to travel the world quite a bit. We operate quite literally in a majority of countries around the world. We have service personnel based as far as Australia, Canada, America, Eastern Europe. We have permanent bases in Cyprus, Gibraltar. We've got people that go down to the Falkland Islands on a detachment, as we call it. For chefs, it's roughly about 4 months they'll go down. So they'll go down there, work down there 4 months, and when they get back, they'll have a bit of additional leave to get back settled in the UK, and then they'll go back to their primary role. So it's quite a good way to see the world and get paid for doing it. We do also have training camps in Canada and Kenya, which we have chefs at. Obviously, we need chefs to feed the training troops. So we do get about quite a bit. And one of my best trips is that I've done working in the Air Force. I went to Mozambique last year to help out after the Hurricane Idai hit. It was a humanitarian trip. We were taking down a lot of food, water, shelter, supplies, and all that sort of stuff. We do this quite a lot. A few years ago, went out to Bahamas when they got hit by the hurricane. We do take chefs, we do take caterers with us, because obviously we need to feed our troops that are going down to help, but also they get involved in cooking food for the people that are in need. So yes, we are a military, but the way I look at it is we aren't a military that looks to fight, we're a military that looks to be a force for good in the world, is I think our motto. So we do get involved with quite a lot of humanitarian aid. So if you're concerned about, you don't want to be in the military, you don't want to fight, that's perfectly fine. However, a lot of what we do isn't fighting. You'll be at a base cooking for people, or at a base looking after the people if you go into the catering world. So what can I say about the role? A lot of the qualifications you'll get at the apprenticeships are exactly the same ones as you've seen the guys already present. You will get civilian qualifications. We are Ofsted inspected, so all our training establishments, they get inspected just like your schools, colleges, universities and all that, to make sure that we're delivering correct training in a safe environment, ensuring that you're getting the skill set to meet that qualification. They are MVQs and they do lead on to further training depending on how far you progress in your career. So it's always worth having a look to see how you want your career to go. In the military, there's various different avenues. So I'll get back to the benefits. I've spoken about a bit about the education there. I've spoken about world travel. The other way you could do world travel is by any sports or hobbies that you may have. So me personally, I play rugby. I've been quite fortunate to play quite a bit of rugby in my career. I've played in quite a few big stadiums in the UK, but I've also played overseas in Cyprus. I've been out to America to play against NYPD. So depending on what level of sport you are, it could open up a lot more avenues as well for you. And to be fair, you could be a complete novice take up a sport. We run novice days in most sports, so you could go along to a novice training camp, have a go at it, see how you feel about it. If it's something that you want to progress, they can tell you the routes to go down. If it's something that you don't want to do again, that's perfectly fine. And a lot of these training camps, they're fully funded, so they don't cost you anything, and you do it in work's time, so it is actually a duty. The reason the military like to push the sports is because it helps you stay fit, which is always a bonus, and it also keeps you motivated. One big thing for me is because we do go around the world quite a bit, we go to different climates quite regular. So for one task, you could go to, say, Kenya, which is a warm location. Another task, you could be going to Canada, which sometimes of the year it's very cold. So the fitter you are, the quicker your body adapts to different climates. And that is one reason why we do push the fitness front. If you're not into your sport, that's perfectly fine. We do have an IA Games team as well. So if that's something that takes your fancy, there's plenty of opportunities in that field. It's a totally new one for me, but we do have our own team. If you just Google RAF IA team, you'll probably find they're probably playing Call of Duty somewhere. And they do enter competitions, national competitions as well. So they do get about, and they do get their entry into competitions paid for some events. Even if it is more like solo sports, for instance, say golf, skiing, snowboarding, we have them opportunities as well. And although we do look after the air, we do have our own sailing aquatic centre. So if you want to learn to surf, bodyboard, windsurf, kayak or anything like that, we've got our own adventure training centre down in Cornwall. So you've got them opportunities that you can take advantage of. I've talked about a lot of the good stuff, but it's not all positive. It's not all good. There is some negatives. Some of the negatives are you probably will have to move away from home. Like I said, your phase 2 training is down in Portsmouth, just north of Portsmouth. Your basic is at RAF Holton, which is near Aylesbury, just north of London. So in the first year, you're going to go away to 2 separate locations. After your phase 2 training, you could get posted to pretty much anywhere where we have a RAF base. They do like to try get you to an RAF location that you want. However, if there's no availability, they can't always do that. So obviously, yes, there is a lot of positives, but there is a lot of negatives as well. It's all about finding that balance. Is it right for you? I get asked, when's the perfect time to join? Unfortunately, there is no right answer. I see 16-year-olds join. They go on, enjoy their career, enjoy the training, adapt really well. I also see 16-year-olds who join. They've never been away from home before, so they struggle a bit. When we get these, we do have welfare systems in place to help them, assist them to just develop them, to try and get them to adapt. But obviously, sometimes it doesn't work and people do leave. But if you join at 16, find it's not for you at that time, you can always rejoin. We won't hold it against you. We realise people at different ages are ready for different things. I didn't join until I was 20 even. When I was 16, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I stayed on, did A-levels at school, finished them, and then I did 2 years just doing little jobs, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then I kind of decided, do you know what? I want to do a bit of world travel. At the time, I was playing semi-professional rugby, and at the rugby club I was playing at, one of the guys was in the RAF. He told me quite a bit about his career, what's been made available to him, and it really interested me. So I started the research, looked online, and thought, you know what, that is something that I think I could enjoy. So I joined. The reason I chose RAF Police, to be honest, I'm not sure why now, but at the time I just thought it seemed quite challenging and it looked quite a diverse role. I have been quite fortunate in my time. I've been based in Northern Ireland, Cyprus. I've spent time in Germany. and then in different roles in the UK. I don't actually do what you would call core policing, so your general policing. I specialise in counterintelligence, so I look after the security element of the policing world, make sure our personnel on our assets are safe at all times, or as safe as can be. So, for instance, our multi-million-pound jets, we don't want to be parking them in locations where anyone could get on and either damage them or potentially take pictures of our interiors to send to people so they can copy our technology. So it is quite interesting, and it is quite diverse. I don't really know where to go here. So what I would say is definitely have a look through our website. Although COVID is reduced our manpower, our career officers at the minute, and it is stopping us from getting out and about and getting to the schools to speak to you in person, definitely, if you can't find the answer on our website, ring your local career office. You might not be able to get hold of them due to manning, so just drop an email. We're more than happy to take a question, and would rather you apply with all the information available to you so you can get the best out of it. If you apply and you don't have a bit of information, you may join the wrong role for you and then think, actually, this ain't for me. Would rather you apply for the role that is suited to you, and that is something that you're going to want to achieve in and want to develop and want to go far. The way we look to recruit is, yes, we want to get you in, get you trained up and working. However, we want to get you in to stay in for a career. We want you to be in for a long time. And one of the ways we do this is, if you make it through our application process, we will give you a 12-year contract. This does not mean you have to join and you've got to do 12 years. It just means if you want to stay in for that 12 years, you've got the contract, you're guaranteed that job for that 12 years. If you want to leave, it's just like any other job. You apply for termination. Depending on the role, it varies in your length of how much notice you've got to give, but on average, it's 6 to 12 months. So bear that in mind. It's not a job that you can leave after 2 weeks. The reason we put that termination policy in is the amount we're going to spend to train you up, get you qualified, and get you doing the role. We've got to make sure that we get a little bit back. So we're not going to keep you if you're unhappy. We will work with you to try and make it easier for you or make you transition. So we do have resettlement packages, so you could do additional training, additional courses. Obviously, the longer you do in the Air Force, the bigger your resettlement budget is, so the more courses you can get on to develop yourself, to set you up for a potential second career. Like I said, you initially get that 12-year contract. As you progress through your career, as you get promoted through the ranks, take on more management responsibility, you do get offered career extensions. So for us, you'll join as an AC, then you'll go to LAC, which finish phase 1 training. After phase 2 and the finish of your apprenticeship, which is roughly about 18 months, you'll then become a SAC. Once you hit SAC, the way to get promoted is you have annual assessments. You get written up on how you're performing, what you're doing, and what skill sets you are showing and developing. So anything extra you're doing, so any hobbies that you sort of do, any sort of management roles, if you're like a club captain of a sports team or something, that'll get written about to show what skill sets you're developing. Once you've had 3 of them, you can then become eligible for promotion. Your reports will go off to a board once a year. They will look at them and they will pick however many people they need for the promotions that they've got available that year. Obviously, once you do hit the next rank, which would be corporal at this time, if it's all good, you accept it, they will offer you a contract extension. This contract extension is an additional 8 years, so it means you've got the chance to do a total of 20 years. For us, 20 years will give you a pension. So once you've completed 20 years, you are entitled to a full pension with the RAF. So where a lot of other jobs differ, you've got to do 35 years or up till you're 67 or potentially 70 by the time you guys are getting ready to retire with us. Once you've done 20 years, that's you secured a pension, all good to go. If, like me, you make the rank as sergeant, you can extend that contract further. So my contract will be a total of 30 years if I want it. At the minute, I'm looking to do the full 30 because I enjoy the role, I enjoy the challenges, and I enjoy the diversity that I get to have in my work life. I feel that I've got a good work home life balance. I get to challenge myself in the workplace. I get to progress my skill sets, but I also get that time away to spend with my family back home and my friends as well. The one thing I will say is, if you joined as 16, you'll be joining, after you finish training, you'll be paying £60 a month for your accommodation out your wage. So you think £18,000 a year, we'll say £1,200 a month, you pay £60 of that for your accommodation. So for the call it 1,100 left, that is your money to do what you want. You've got to obviously feed yourself, but a lot of people your age, 16 to 18, are not going to have that amount of dependable income and freedom to be able to do what they want, go on experience, travel. I know with COVID we can't really travel at the minute, but hopefully things will resume to a bit more normality and a bit of travel will come back into it. If not, you can buy new toys, new game consoles, a car, or anything like that. So there is a lot with the RAF that can benefit you. You will find that a lot of big organisations do support the military, so they will offer us additional benefits to try and help us out to make life better, because when we do deploy, we are away from our family. So when we come back, we can take advantage of these to treat our family or treat ourselves to something nice. This can range from anything from reduced car prices, discount on phone contracts, clothing, absolutely all sorts. For those that are really sporty, you will have a gym on most units. If you don't have a gym on the unit, you'll have access to one nearby. This will be free of charge, and the reason they give it free is because they do want to keep you fit, and they'll give you every opportunity to be able to keep yourself fit and motivated to be able to do your job at all times. Well, I know I'm a bit short of the 30 minutes, but yeah, thank you for listening. Hopefully I've been able to answer a lot of questions. One thing that I will say is the RAF, although we are a military force, we do like to keep up with the modern trends, modern styles. So you will see that a lot of our policies are different from the army. So in the RAF, we are allowed to have a neat and tidy beard. This is so we can appeal to everyone. So we're not saying to people who grow it for, say, for instance, religious reasons, or you can't join because you've got a beard. It's to open up the Air Force, to enable us to be a force that can employ anyone. Whether you're male or female, there is no role in the RAF that you can't do. We do have certain limitations when it comes to health, for instance. So if you're colourblind, you can't be an electrician. However, there are other roles in the RAF where you can be colourblind. There are certain roles where if you're too tall, you can't do. So for us, cabin crew, if you're over 198, I think it is now, you're going to be too tall. Obviously, that is a health and safety point, because if you're going down the cabin of an aircraft and you're too tall, you're going to be hitting your head all the time. So there are certain limitations, but that height, if you're over 2 meters, you can go for other roles. So yeah, so if you are interested, have a look on our website. If you want to know more, get in touch with the organisers of this. I'm sure they can drop us an email. If not, try and get a hold of your local career office. Career offices around here, you've got Shrewsbury, you've got Stoke, and you've got the Birmingham office. So if you do want further information and advice, get in contact. Thank you.